Before we kick off today, I just want to let you know that we have an exclusive newsletter that shares lots of information, tips and tricks about building your ideal business. If you want to find out more and jump on and subscribe to this, check out the show notes below and subscribe to our newsletter. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ideal Business Podcast. I'm here today with Cesar Hasselmann. I haven't met Cesar before, so we've just had a pretty interesting conversation. Really interesting guy. Done a lot of things, helps a lot of businesses. Sort of comes from a background where he's done some pretty incredible stuff, So he's now chosen. He's been in Oz for a while now, and so he's now chosen to work with Australian companies here, based in Brizzy. If you could just, Cesar, just give us a little bit of just so people know where your background is a little bit, maybe just a high level background and where you're at the moment. That'd be really great.
Cool. So thank you, mate. I really appreciate, Paul, for the invitation and being part of your podcast. I started business very early in my teens by mistake. A friend of mine, his sister was doing a party and DJ didn't arrive. We got my parents' gears, we put it there and we started to play and have fun, and we became the adults teaching the kids, and because of our passion and playing and dancing, other parents start to ask us to do the same for them, and then we start to get gigs.
Yeah, right. So DJing, you were DJing.
Yeah, and then 2 years on the road, we actually my friend's moms got the time to look after us, so she was doing all the things for us, and we in 2 years we got 4 vans, we have 5 DJs working with us. We're doing parties from Thursday to Sunday. It was just awesome until my friend got sick and died. So
no, that's terrible.
That was a good
start point.
Yeah, but anyway, from there I did so many different things. I have worked in majority of them on sales, but I have a distribution center. We have brought the first frozen pizza to Brazil.
Right.
For the whole America, the Latin America, we brought the first frozen pizza, the first frozen lasagna, and I put it in all the petrol stations nationally.
Wow, fantastic! God. Yeah,
and we used the logistic of an ice cream company that was big, but they were getting broke, so we could use very cheap a logistic for us, which helped us a lot. I brought to Brazil the first trucks protector. That is made by polyethylene. It was an American company called Duraliner. They were the first guys that did it. They put the shape of the back of the trunk, and then we sell for the industries. They used to just paint with a protector in that stage.
Right. Okay. Right.
Then I brought products that add value to the same channel that I was selling on the supermarket. So I used to sell supermarkets national-wise, petrol station national-wise, and I just add products all the time to be able to make some extra money out of my logistic. So anyway, from that industry, we got bankrupt on that because of my president in my country, I believe 991, between 989 and 991, we have a president that was taking all the savings from everyone, business and personal, with the excuse to pay the international trade debt.
Yeah, right. A bit of corruption.
And then once that happens, my business collapsed because the industry that I used to work with, they start to send invoices for my clientele that didn't order products because everyone was in crisis, right?
Right.
And then so nobody was buying anything. But for the industry to be able to keep surviving, they start to trade the invoices. And because I have good clients, the banks see those invoices as money.
Yeah, right.
So they lose 5-10% of the invoices, but they get the cash up front.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
So and then all my industries that I used to work with, majority of them, start to do that. They start to just send invoices, and my clients start to call me. I never ordered you that. And then the banks start to chase them for a invoice that they never ordered for me, and then of course we got burnout.
So what other industries after that?
Oh, then I start to work with Coca-Cola, and then so I went to the market. I work with Coca-Cola, I work with Elmer Ships, PepsiCo Group, and then from there, I got back. I went to work with a marketing company, and then that marketing company opened up for me. They have big companies and big revenues. They work with the big accounts, and I start to make my way up to in that industry, and I'm supposed to bring new clients to them. And they used to have one technology company that I used to love to work with them. Is the smaller company that they have on the whole group. The group doesn't give them any vision, any extra support, but they self-contained good company. And then one day I asked to leave the business, the marketing company. Those they have conflict with that little business, and I went back to my city because I was working in another city. I was in interstate. I went back to Rio, and then there I started to do the same thing that the little company used to do because I loved that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then those guys discovered that I was doing this here, and they came to me to say that we're splitting from the group.
Right. Okay.
And we would like you to work with us. So before they split with the group, I start to work for them.
Right.
And then we start to get good relationship in between the business owners. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing because it's too messy in between the conflict.
Yeah, the politics of it. So you sort of went through a lot of stuff, you know. And so if you fast forward, right? So you came into Oz. I'm just going to move forward a little bit in 2009, and we chatted a bit. You came here for a sabbatical for 12 months, and you just fell in love with Australia, you know.
That's right.
And then sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I left my 120 employees company that built from that history until now. I got in a place that I was successful, but I was completely unhappy as a person.
And why were you unhappy? What was it? You know, just at a high level, without too much. Why were you unhappy? If you had to say top 3 things that weren't working for you.
I could. My company, which was my life, was taking away 80 hours a week from me.
Was it always like that, Cesar? Was it always lots and lots of hours, working long days, long hours?
Yeah, it was always like that. Until I discovered that life was more than that. And my companies that I created, they always made me my own jail, right? So I found a good income, but I could not disconnect, and nobody.
You were trapped. You're effectively trapped. Yeah, okay.
I was trapped to the company, and then I choose one. A lot of things happen. So I discovered that the people that's on the top of my chain with the group that I was part of was stealing from each other's. We have a hole in my company that's a taxation hole that became a problem and an untrustful relationship with the business partnership, and the person who brought us to the group was the most powerful family member, which brought us problem with all the rest of the family.
Right.
And that thing, and then I have a kid that's 6 months old that I just could spend 1 week with him because I was with 4 offices and international projects, and was just too much. And a partner that was we don't have a big relationship anymore because
all those things. So did you sort of have a realization when you came here? Can you just tell the story about? I really love that you had a bit of a vision about where you were going to go, and you had a checklist. Can you just describe that? Because I think that's really cool. Because what you actually did, when I heard that, I went, you sort of was like, okay, I know what I don't want, I know what I want, and you set up a very clear vision, almost like a perfect scene going forward. Can you just touch on that? That was really cool.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'll look around myself, and on the market, people believe that I was very successful, and in certain way to see I was, but I was unhappy, and I say, you know what? Enough of this shit. I want something real.
Mm-hmm.
I know the crisis was coming. The president in my country was changing. I know that we're gonna have a very tough years coming. I say, you know what? Or we shrink or I move.
Yeah, right.
I could not shrink. The bank didn't allow me to shrink, even knowing that we have $30 million turnover and we don't need them. But the whole political game was against me. And I say, you know what? The only way to not allow that to kill me is not giving that value back to what I used to love. That's not my passion anymore. I want my life fixed. And to be able to live in a place that I can feel happy with me, I need to change things that I don't like anymore. So I want to go for a country and spend some time to learn how can I deal with my country. And this country must not have a big trade because of the crisis.
Yeah, so that was one criteria that you had. One criteria.
No big international trade, because that's what makes the big countries go through crisis altogether.
Yeah.
So
So would you say they're a bit of not so stable, eh? When there's sort of lots of external forces, is that what you're?
Of course, when you have more products that what you can consume in your country and you start to sell overseas, it's good from the start. But at the time that that money start to miss in your own country, and you need to keep selling,
dependency. Yep.
You start to be the buyer start to have the buyer power. And that's how United States and China and Russia plays. They play with the power of consumption that they can have. So, and then everybody else be just watching them taking the most out of it. So what I said is I would like to be in a country that's self-sufficient economically. They have a stable society system, and needs to cover some gaps of my life. I would like to move for a place that I never was there before, needs to match in my needs. So I live in Rio. I need a city that's close to the equatorial line of Rio. I need to be 1 hour of my surf, because that's the way that I do in my country.
They like to surf, right.
Like to surf. So, and then I need to be max 1 hour from the beach that I can surf. The city needs to be in growth for the last 2 or 3 years, nationally average, to allow me to have some business opportunity there, and I can learn how it goes. So, and then I found Australia, and I found Brisbane. That in 2009 was the third year that Brisbane was growing more than the other cities.
Beautiful. So you had that list, and so were there many other cities that matched up or not? So no, right, okay.
No. Brisbane was perfect because all the box ticks, all the others, they have different things. Sydney, I tried to force myself to go Sydney first, but after I analyzed the winter, that's not the place that I wanted to live. It's beautiful, different. No, I want the weather to be the same as Rio. I want to be outside with my kid the whole year, and I don't want to be feeling like I'm in New York in my city now. And that's Sydney sometimes some stage of the year. Sydney is pretty much like New York, with a very hard wind levels that bring you even further down in the winter temperature. So
no, that's good. So Brisbane, and it's really funny because I often talk about that. One of the challenges that we have today is too much choice, right? Too much choice, And I always talk about toothpaste. It's really interesting, it's because when I don't know, before you used to buy toothpaste, you just go to the aisle and there'd be, 5 toothpaste. There's like 100 things of toothpaste, And so I think what we need today, and it's exactly what you've done, is you create some non-negotiables and it narrows the choice, and then you can make decisions. You need to have filters so you know what to say no to in life and in business. And, so what you did by creating that was going, okay, I'm not just going to go, you don't have a friend going, hey, come here, come over here, come over here. Well, look, that might be good for you. Yeah, they would have done that. But the problem is it might not be good for you. It's not necessarily good for you. So you were really clear about what I wanted and what to say no to. So that's very, very cool,
In that stage, my sister was living for 5 or 6, 7 years in Portugal. My brother was living for almost 10 years in States. I have options to get out of Brazil, but I want the perfect place. I had enough. I had 5 years of very hard job that I could see that I'm throwing away because my passion was not there anymore. Right. So I need to find something to feel passionate again.
Right. And so now, you came to Australia, you had a whole process here. So now you work with businesses that can leverage your knowledge, your expertise, your background. And so you've worked with, you've obviously had a lot of your own businesses, some that worked, some that didn't work. You've done lots of things. So I'm just going to ask you, what have you found top 3 most common issues that you find in businesses? Top 3 issues in businesses, challenges.
Okay. So people create that imagine of their business and they cannot see reality sometimes. That's one thing. So they go, this is what my business is, but actually it's like this. They've got a different image. That's right. Oh yeah. So you imagine that your culture, your people is one thing, and reality, that's how people show you, but doesn't mean that's reality of your business. Right. That's simple as. That's one thing. It's not necessarily the way you believe your business culture is that it is.
So that's a reality perception gap. So I see this
You
as
do
my
have.
business, but then the reality is a different thing. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. That's a big thing. You need to understand that if you're gonna bring someone to help you with your business, you need to understand that you are ready to look in the mirror and feel yourself naked, looking at you and seeing all the good and bad things about yourself.
Right.
That's simple. If you're not ready to do that, don't do it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is understand your numbers, because it's much better than a P&L. I don't believe in P&L. I believe the government teach us to find a way to put in numbers things that makes them money.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think about business in a different way. I think that you need to understand your numbers that make sense to you to pay attention on them. I'll give an example that's very common. My sister is obstetrician, right? So she makes a good money when she goes to pop kids out, and when she do one specific test in her office, in her clinic, right?
Yep.
So those two items, they are the biggest ticket that she can have. But without having just the first booking visit, she never gonna get the volume that she want on the second thing.
Yeah,
So
right.
if she knows those three numbers, she doesn't need to be worried about how much money she's making. So
Yeah.
if she knows her volume on those three, she will make the money that she wanted.
The
And that's the
pipeline
way
comes, it comes, doesn't it? So yeah.
everything in between fit by itself.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to be checking your P&L to see how much money you lost in the past. You're supposed to see what your future holds and fix your business from today. Because when you're checking your P&L, you already lost.
Yeah. The P&L, I always talk about the P&L's rear view mirror. You know, it's like in your car, you're looking in the mirror, it's where you've gone, not very useful where you're going.
No,
no, that's true.
You need to understand today that you have 3-4 numbers. You track them. I call them magic numbers.
Yeah, okay.
And then if you track those 3 or 4, you don't need to be checking your P&L, your bank account. You don't need to do any of it, because those 3 or 4 numbers are gonna take you wherever you want to go.
Yeah, beautiful. And what was the third thing? What is the third thing?
The third thing is stop to listen to people in your business that make you comfortable, and you start to be open to listen to the people who make you uncomfortable, because sometimes those people, they will help you more and they do better for your business than the ones that try to make you happy.
No, that's really good, isn't it? Yeah. That's a bit challenging though, isn't it? Because you've built
that's a big challenge.
You build loyalty and trust and friendships and all that sort of stuff, haven't you? You know.
But you don't have friends. If you real with yourself and you run your business, you really don't have that many friends.
That's true.
You don't. You need to be realistic. You can have a good environment. You can make people grow, and you can make them feel that you're there as the best mate that they can, and you can be that guy.
Yeah.
But at the time that you get emotional to that, you start to lose the boundaries in that relationship, and people take advantage as a human being do, and then you lost the grip in your culture. So it needs to have a very clear boundary between what's the relationship can take you to, and what is the step out of the boundary that's gonna cut the head of the snake straight away.
It's a bit of growth, isn't it? You're talking about personal growth, and really changing the way you think. Is that a big part of when you're working with clients, them as individuals evolving and growing and changing their thinking? Do you find that's a big part of the process?
Yeah. This is part of the process, as the personal life is too, because majority of business that doesn't work is because they're not matching the personal needs with the business. So it is not just the challenge of understanding the business, but understanding what they're missing and what they want from their own relationship, because that's what I do. I'm not just going there to take money for whatever's the basic for the business. I don't do that, and I'm not coming with a band-aid situation. All we help and fix the things to have you having the best life ever, or I'm not your guy.
Yeah, perfect, beautiful. Have you ever wanted to find out how ideal your business is? We put together a really cool tool. It's a quiz that we put together that'll enable you to get your ideal business score. It's a fantastic tool. Check it out in the show notes and find out how ideal your business is. Back to the show. And so when you look at, now going back to your business, the one you've involved now, what's, and I talk a lot about an ideal business. So how do you describe for you, personally for you, the ideal, and we're always moving towards it, you know, so, you know,
Yeah.
we've always got to say, what's the ideal business for you? What does that look like, you know, day to day? What are you doing? Who are you engaging with? How would you describe the ideal business? And obviously it's the same point you just made. For me, an ideal business really supports your ideal life. Those two things are really connected. So what does it mean for you? Someone who's got a lot of experience, what does it mean?
Yeah, for me, ideal business is the business that works for you, no matter what you do and no matter what you want to do. So I'm gonna give you an example. I have one client that my first meeting with him, he was the son of the business owner. And my first meeting with him, he asked me in the first half an hour, say, how can I take 5-month holiday in a year?
That was in the first half hour.
First half an hour, and I say, should I take this guy on board?
Yes.
But you know, but it's the same person that I asked to buy the business from his family when the business was valued by $900,000 because I could see the growth.
Yes.
And I believe in the next 2 months, his business is gonna be valued between 13 to 15 million Australian dollars.
Right.
In 6 years.
Right.
6, 7 years. And
Right.
he had years that he took it 5-month holiday. and he was working the last 2 months and a half, the last 3 months he was working from Canada.
Right. Okay.
Right. He took his whole family. And went there, and he spent 3 months working from there. And now we're doing acquisitions. We are the big on his town. We're gonna be twice bigger than the second one this year. We keep growing.
Beautiful.
And he's only 37 years old.
Beautiful. That's great.
So today, yeah. So that's for me. It's like I can give you more example from my clients that start from nowhere, and we became a good thing. So for me, business these days, it's what I do. It's how I live.
Yeah,
you know, my business.
So what's
I have
ideal,
1
what's
week
ideal for you? So yeah, please describe how you see your ideal business and how it works.
I set up myself in a different way. I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit weirdo, Paul. I analyze that every 3 months we have 1 month that has 5 weeks, and that's the reason why the banks they do 4.33 to divide your average in a month, because you have extra weeks in some month. So I said that week is mine. Nobody takes from me. I'm gonna take holidays every quarter on that week, right?
Okay.
And what I do is every end of quarter, if I achieve my numbers on Wednesday, I go away and I take the whole next week off, and I come back. Nobody noticed that I was off for almost 15 days.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's one thing that I do. The second thing that I do is I go hard in 1 week. I used to have clients in Melbourne, Sydney, Townsville, and Cairns. I used to visit all of them in 1 week in the month.
Right.
So I leave home 6 a.m. I leave home 4 a.m. on Monday. I come back 10 p.m. on Friday, and I knock them all down. I do more than 100 meetings in that week because I have all the one-on-one coaching for my clients of my clients. So the staff members, and I get everything done. So when I arrive, I take almost 1 week off, just analyzing all my data, everything that I got from them, and then I'll work through it. So I just need to visit my clients once a month, but I'm with them every day if necessary, right?
Beautiful.
I have a rule also with my clients that when I have my son, I have 50-50 son. My son is 15 years old today. So 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock is the time that I work. I like to have a breakfast with my son. I like to go and watch him rowing or do some exercise with him. I like to pick him up from school. I like to have a nice dinner with him. He has his own time, do his own thing today. But then my clients know that I just talk in the weeks that I have my son 9 to 2. Beautiful, and the first thing that they ask me, 9 to 2, oh, you with your son this week? I say yes or no, and we keep talking. But when I don't have my son, they can call me on Sunday, 7 o'clock in the morning. We can talk on Saturdays, 10 p.m. I don't care. I don't charge hourly rates because I don't believe it's fair for you to ask an upfront revenue for something that you didn't deliver.
Yeah, right.
So I don't charge hourly rates. I charge a fixed fee and then a 3% pay performance at the end of the year.
Nice.
That's it. And then this allow me to put extra time, allow them to call me and not feel that they're losing money because they're asking me a question.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just a better relationship there.
Beautiful.
My clients, after 3 years together, we don't have even an agreement in place. We just have a paper for my insurance company. We sign. They can call me any day to cancel. I don't care if you don't want to work with me. I don't want to work with you either. So it's simple. If I don't want to work with you as well, please let me go. So to have a good relationship, my agreements with I don't remember my clients today. What was the last time we have an agreement that says 12 month, 18 month? I don't have those things anymore.
So
I believe if you add value,
yeah, fantastic. That's great. That's a really.
If you add value, they're gonna. I worked one of my clients last year. He used me 3 times for the whole year.
Right. Okay.
So he paid my fees every month. But because we're together for so long, he knows that what he pays me is very little for what he got it from it.
It gets great value.
So it's a healthy thing.
Yeah. So you've designed it. It sounds like, Cesar, you've designed your business model and your approach so that it really supports what you want to, how you want to live your life. Is that true? Like, it sounds like you've put some things in place. You just described a whole bunch of things that they're not one thing, but they're all the little bits that you've set up, and obviously put a bit of thought into it that enables you to live the way you live at the moment.
No, that's right, man. It is, and I teach my clients to do the same. I teach my clients to have freedom. I teach my clients to get out of you have a job in your business. Fuck no, you have the risk. You pay the bills. You owe the taxation office. You deserve to have a break. You deserve to have a wife that spend time with, or a husband that spend time with. You deserve to go and watch your son playing that match. You deserve to have time to just scratch your balls if you want to.
So I'm going to ask you, right? I always find this really interesting, right? So why do you think, okay, so you think about this, there's business owners, they're successful, they've got money, they've been in business for 5, 6, 10, 15 years. So why do you think they don't do that? Why is that? Why is it that they still work on the 50 hours? They don't see what do you think it is? Because I always ask clients that. So what do you think?
One word?
Yeah.
I have 2 words for that.
Yeah.
No, 3 actually. Hard to get trust from others.
Right.
Macromanaging.
Right.
And business culture.
Right. So the first 2 is interesting because that's fear-based, isn't it? It's fear, and yeah.
All 3. Culture is fear too. It's a lot of people who has $1 million salesperson, right? Or they have $1 million technician, and they're afraid of those guys to leave, and they have a business around that. So those guys sometimes they have a better wage than the owner takes.
Oh, I know, and they have control too. Yeah, they have control.
And they make your culture a shit culture. And you get afraid of. So one of my clients that was spending 5-month holidays, it's a lot of things that's happened for him to take those 5 months anyway. But we actually have 85% of the income, one of the business arms, coming from one person. And that person destroyed completely anything we try to do with culture, So I put a plan in place. We grow the business for that 80% became 30. So we didn't shrink the volume of that person. We just increased the volume from the whole business itself around that person. Until the day that we can say, you know what?
You can go. Yeah. Too dependent.
But in that stage, we don't need to do this anymore because the whole culture was expelling that person out. We allow that person to die by itself.
Yeah. In a good culture, that's what's happened. Those people get pushed out. They just leave because they don't fit anymore. No one puts up with their bullshit anymore or their nonsense. They just move,
That's completely right. And any business will survive any problem in the industry if they have a solid culture.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a fantastic point. That's really, really good. So when you work with clients, you do lots of different things. If I had to say to you, what would be, tools or processes, what do you find are the top 3 tools or things that you typically would go, that you see is pretty common where people don't have these in place, that can make the biggest difference for them to extract a little bit? What do you think is often missing in these businesses?
Oh, it's very hard to say those 3 things as I go any industry. Some industries has different things.
What's missing, maybe? What's missing? Because what I find in your business, this is what I often find, and this is why you come in and add values, because they look at what's working. Oh, that's working. They look at that and say it's not working. What's actually hard to find is what's missing, right? because they don't know. So what's often missing, you know, when you go in and they're like, oh, no, what do you think's the common things that are missing that are preventing them to get a bit of that balance and get their life on track? What do you reckon it is based on your experience?
I believe the biggest thing is the opportunity to see the reality sometimes, because a lot of businesses they made or by passion or by needs, right? They start from passion, love, or needs, one of them, or opportunities, right? So that's the way a business starts. And people get lost on those in different ways. If you ask me to find some tools from those, usually people who start with passion forget about that they need to pay bills and forget about how to escalate or look after people. So the tools that they need usually are based on that.
Yep.
But what I can say is I have a client, mate, that we start, he was averaging a year $2 million. He's a electrical engineer company, so high voltage, he does a lot of the big stuff. And we went to almost 30 to 40 million together. And we have a bunch of history on that. And then he shrunk again because he broke in pieces. We have one government client that was shit, political games everywhere. But at the end of the day, they were owing us $7 million and we got it. But we got it in one way that we need to burn all the bridges, right?
Yeah, okay.
But we got it. So we were very successful to not get broke because of the fucking client.
Yeah.
But what's happened with that is he decided to shrink again because it was a very emotional roller coaster, right? It was a big money on the table, it was a big stressful thing, just powerful people playing with. And it's funny that 1.5 years, 2 years later, he came to me to talk about, I asked him the other day, I say, hey mate, what do you believe that went wrong? And he'd sit down and say, hey, Cesar, I believe that in this situation, and I was doing the negotiation, when we have this, when we have that, I'm supposed to fucking smash them there and blah, blah. I say, really think like that? and then I asked him, have you watched Oceans 8, Oceans 10, 11, 12? Do you know the movie?
Yeah. Oceans 8, 10, 11.
And then say, yes, I have. So, and I have watched multiple times. I say, oh, cool. So why you watch that multiple times? I don't know. It's smart, it's clever, it's this, it's that. I said, mate, we're passionate because people was engaged. They have a team. They work together. Every single one is delivering their parts.
They're having fun, aren't they? They're having fun.
They're having fun. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Can you correlate that to your business?
Are you having fun? Do you love your business? Do you love it?
No, in that stage 2 years ago, because we are about to go again, he called to engage me back.
Yeah.
And then he started to say about that, but if he's not fixing the way and the vision that he has as a leader, I cannot do much. I don't want him to lose money with me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's simple. So I believe he was wrong, even going for the most painful phase of his life.
Yeah.
It made him decide to not even touch his business anymore.
Yeah.
And now that he wants to go back, he was about to commit the same mistake again.
Yeah, okay, interesting, eh? What an interesting.
Oh, and then I say, oh, that's the reason why I do not do bullshit box things for anyone. I analyze their life, I analyze their business, I analyze their industry, and then I analyze what's working the business, because they made that themselves. If I put them in a box, I'm gonna touch things that they believe and make them wake up in the morning to go for work that I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm just working generic with them.
Yeah,
so
I understand. You're very customized, eh?
It's very, yeah. I contracted a PR lady, which was a very good brand in Australia. She's the mother of the medias. And even she could not tell me one word what I do. She said, Cesar, Cesar, you look like, if I'm gonna put you some label on you, will be you are angel investor.
Yeah.
Instead you use money, you use knowledge, because you give your hands, you go to the end, you fight with your clients, and you get the end goal.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, but nice. Even that, if I put that my slogan, nobody gonna understand anyway. I say, fuck, I spend the money with that lady, and at the end, I arrive at the same place. I have no way that I can explain what I do.
That's beautiful, but that's nice. You've got a bit of a unique approach, and unique. So Cesar, I'm just going to wrap out with a few questions. I've got some questions I always ask. So, So now, how many hours a week do you typically work now? You know, if you take into account what's ideal.
I changed my business. I fired 80% of my business 2 years ago.
Right.
My clients 2 years ago, because I was trying to say, okay, I would like to have not just a cash flow rich business. I would like to have a asset rich business too. I would like to mix it up.
Yeah.
So I start to do developments myself with my own money.
Okay. Yep.
Not as a business, but just to check how much clean money I can do with those investments against how much tax I pay in my business.
Yes.
And then I choose that. I just kept my clients that I love the most, and I left all the clients that was needing still to have a job to go, but they were not facing the truth yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So today I'm coming back because now my asset business is working already.
Beautiful.
Right. So for me, I work in average 60 to 8 hours 1 week in a month. Right. And then I work for my clients as the month goes in what they need, and I give more time as they need it. So it's not based on my fees. My clients sometimes they need me more at the start, and that's the way it works really. My first 3 to 6 months with my clients, they're gonna get more of me than the next year. So you're not paying any extra. Right. So they might gonna have, if you put in the kind of amount of hours, they might gonna have 2 years of hours of me in the first 6 months.
Yeah, a lot of intensity at the front end.
But then after that, we work once a month.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that's the way it works.
So what do you think, and this is a question, because as you know, the 40-hour week thing and the Monday to Friday came out of the Industrial Revolution, you know? That's where it came from. So what do you think, what's a sensible amount of hours for anyone to work so that you can get this life-work balance for anyone? What do you reckon is, what's the cap? Well, where do you think is a sweet spot?
You have two phases for that. I'm sorry if I'm going too long with the answer.
That's all right.
But you have the organization time, the first time that you get everything organized to allow you to go for your new reality, right?
Yeah.
So when you arrive in that organization time, no matter how many hours you work, you fixing things.
Yeah.
And then you need to see that as it is, because it's a period of time. You know, you're gonna do this for 3 months, 6 months, sometimes 1 year.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
So once you get that timeline and you're ready, all in on that, after that, if you work 16 to 24 hours a week, if you work more than that, it's because you're trying to chase problems that you're not supposed to be part of.
Beautiful. So 2 to 3 days a week makes sense, eh? 2 to 3 days a week.
My average work today, even when I have my full clientele, I never like it to look after more than 10 to 12 personal clients, because that allows me to give real time for them and allows me to have 1 week a month to do whatever I want.
Fantastic. That's great. I love that. That's a really good philosophy. So Cesar, I know you've got a book that is just printing at the moment, coming out. So if people want to find you, can you just maybe tell us the name of the book? Yeah, you're happy to share that with us?
Yeah. The name of the book is Life Breakthrough.
Beautiful.
It's all about that. It's some of my clients, partners, they ask me why I don't share how their life changed, where they come from, and how their life is much better now. Why I'm not share that? And that took me 4 years to write a book that was too deep. Christ, the COVID arrived, that book became 4. And then my first book now is The Life Breakthrough, which break down all the emotional beats that a business owner in our load is a lonely trip that we have. So it's just try to show you in a different way that you can handle those things and get more maturity from different aspects to be able to give you a better life.
That's beautiful. Looking forward to that. When's that coming out? When do you reckon?
I'm approving the last version today. I believe in the next probably 15-20 days, I'm probably gonna have the first book printed in my hand.
Beautiful. And if people want to find you, what's the best way to find you? Hunt you down?
They can go for amhconsultancy.com .au or .com, and they can search for my name, CesarHasselmann.com. And LinkedIn, I believe, is the best place to go, because that's the one that I have my hands on. All the others is a company looking after.
Beautiful. Look, Cesar, I really enjoy. I just love, your energy, your insights, your experience. It's just, and I love, I just love upfront, direct, and honest. Which, you know, I don't think there's things that are missing. Is that approach, which I really love about you, and also it's the other thing of just being real, you know, which is really missing at the moment. You know, everyone wants to be someone else and look like how we should look, and you are who you are. No punches hold, and I think that's why you're successful in what you do, because people really value that. It's pretty unique, you know. It's not
Oh,
so
thank
common.
you.
So I think
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate all the observations. I really enjoyed the conversation with you too. I believe that's what people need. People like you that can go through things and ask the questions that people would like to hear. I agree with you. We have a lot of people out there and a lot of young people that promise things that they not even know how it works.
yeah. It's pretty common, isn't it?
It's just ridiculous. You know, even people in our age and they have good knowledge. I was with a relationship that a lady has wrote a book about fucking you can have everything in your life or whatever, and herself could not have a worse life.
Doesn't that? I always say that to people when it's like you get a financial planner, right? You get a financial advisor, and the first question you should ask them is, how wealthy or how good is your financial? And you find that people that are providing advice haven't achieved that themselves, which is strange.
It was, yeah. And then so our relationship became, I became the mirror of her failures because I was the one who was pointing them. We could not even move forward. Beautiful person, a lot of knowledge, was just lost in her own problems, and she made something beautiful out of it, you know. But was not real for her until find someone that say, hey, wake up, get that for you too, you deserve it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cesar. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and wish you all the best with the book launch and everything else that you put your hands on as you go forward.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. I would love to send you a book once I have the printed one.
I'd look forward to it. That'd be fantastic, mate. Thanks for listening. As you know, we grow organically. It's really people like yourself that enable us to get the word out. If you like what you hear, please give us a rating, leave a good comment, and share this with your friends. Thank you.